from beautiful Oxnard, California, the heart of Ventura County. This is Real VC, a podcast all about Ventura County real estate. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO of Upmarket Media, and so happy to just be hanging out here with my co-host Katie Connolly, assistant team leader of Keller Williams West Ventura County.
I'm happy to be hanging out with you too.
I know.
Yes.
So how are you feeling? We're a few episodes in with you as the co-host. How are you feeling about podcasting?
I think it's fantastic.
Oh,
Talking
good.
is my favorite thing to do.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like I've been talking more in the podcast. So maybe talking is my favorite thing to do. Chelsea, is that my favorite thing to do?
I think so.
All right. Oh, that's just, oh, thank you. Chelsea Froelich, our
You're
producer.
good at it, though.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, thanks. Okay. That's a compliment. I'll take that compliment. But yeah, so I'm glad you're enjoying it because I'm enjoying having you as the co-host.
I'm really excited for today's episode.
Yeah. Well, a lot of pressure's off me. So why don't you go ahead? So I don't want to have the pressure. Why don't you introduce our guest? And maybe you should even ask the first question.
I will. So one thing I love about this podcast is we've had so many amazing real estate veterans on our show. We've learned from all of their mistakes, all of their successes. And today we have a rising star.
Oh.
We have Hung Lee here with us today. And we had a great conversation yesterday because you told me that yesterday was your 1-year anniversary of being full-time in real estate.
Yes.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's correct.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So rising star here. Just let's talk about your first year in real estate. What's the most exciting and most challenging thing that's happened this year?
Well, first year, I didn't expect much, honestly. Being so new in the industry, I just wanted to get the lay of the land and really just kind of figure out who can I learn and grow from within this industry. And surprisingly, I'm staying active. As a first-year agent, I'm thinking I'm doing okay. I'm actually making money.
Well, I think you're ahead of the
goal.
game then.
Yes.
I've talked to a lot of people who after a year that, oh no, I haven't had a single deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like, it works.
So you also said something to me yesterday. You said, I'm just failing forward. And I love that because I think so many people get discouraged, whether they've been doing this for a short time or a long time. So what did you mean by that? Failing forward?
Most people, myself, I don't feel like I need to know all the information. If I can just get a general direction of where to go and get a good grasp of what to do next and not worry about what's down the road, 10 steps down the road, and just focus on the next step and just, learn as we grow, and then there's no, making room for mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what was your biggest failure this year that led to success?
Biggest failure is probably not implementing the action sooner than later.
Oh.
Yeah. All these, so going into this industry first year, you get overwhelmed with a lot of tools.
Right.
That many agents don't need right off the bat.
That's true.
So I was able to, kind of have a plan, really I would say a roadmap of what I actually needed to use. And I wish I would have got that roadmap a little sooner. Because I was kind of just taking my time.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know Hung now, I think you're going to be seeing a lot of him in the next 5 years, for sure.
As a new agent, what was the thing about real estate that has surprised you the most about being a realtor, a real estate agent?
Oh, wow, that's a tough question.
Well, good. I asked the tough
You're like,
questions.
I'm surprised every day.
Yeah, I'm surprised at every moment, honestly. I say this industry is more about people than houses. And people always tend to surprise me, right? Right. What I would say is I'm putting on my tombstone, people will be people. Meaning people will, disappoint you. At the same time, they will randomly surprise you. So I get surprised by, I wouldn't say surprised, but I love the fact that everyone's different. And I get to work with so many different personalities.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right. Well, and as you've come through this first year, have you had mentorship or outside of, and I know you're here at Keller, right? Where I know they have a strong program in terms of, helping their newer agents. But I mean, I see a lot of new agents kind of team up with someone, either, be the junior member on a team and be out there kind of assisting, or did you do anything like that? Or have you been kind of on your own?
No, I haven't teamed up with anyone yet. When I first started the company, I saw that there were so many programs out here, so many coaching and education, especially with Keller Williams, this weekly coaching. So I was able to tap into those classrooms and courses. And I was actually able to take out KW's program, the BOLD program, which actually amplified my plans. Like I was saying, I wasn't able to grasp the plan right away, but 3 or 4 months after I grabbed my plan and realized that the tools that I saw that was available, I was able to really execute it. Again, BOLD class from KW really pushed me forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then, so you've just been out there on your own. And
Yes.
Yeah. So, what have you done this year that has worked?
Just talking to people, just talking to the humans.
Hung's a great talker. That's why we were so excited to have him on his show today. But he's done all the work too. You talk about your roadmap. I encourage agents all the time to get their own for sale signs, to get their own open house signs. And a lot of newer agents think like, oh, I'll just do that in the future when I'm this big time realtor. Hung has all of that.
Right.
He has laid the foundation to really like do this right as a profession and as a career. So how was that part of your roadmap? Because I feel like you just take advice from anyone and then just do it, implement it, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. I like to say I don't like to overthink things and just really see what's going to work. And you never know until you try it. And that's where coming forward comes into play there.
Right.
I really take this as seriously as a business. Like any business, you have to invest your time and invest your money and just invest your education, your knowledge. And I've been fully invested into this career for the last year, and I started to see results.
Right. And when you came in, did you have a plan ahead of time, or did you just go, I got my license and okay, I guess I'll figure it out now? Or you kind of seem like you're a bit more prepared than that. But I feel like you already had a plan in place.
My plan was kind of just get a lay of the land and really see what the transactions process were and seeing what are the players out there and who I can really learn and grow from. And And I really am surprised at the progress of just doing the work.
And how are you finding the humans to talk to?
At first, being new to the industry, you got to work your sphere. The people let them know this is your new profession, and recruit them to help you kind of push the news out there.
Right. Make that sphere bigger.
Yeah.
Your biggest cheerleaders are your friends and family.
Absolutely,
hopefully.
absolutely. And then I've been also farming my neighborhood too. That's been helping.
Another thing that we tell agents to do: farm your own neighborhood, and he just does it. Just jumps right in and does it, and has found success in it.
But you find a lot of new agents don't do that.
There's no secrets in real estate, right? We can all agree on that. So
There's no secret sauce.
No secret sauce.
Right.
You got to do the work, like you said. But a lot of people that I've talked to think that they can just innovate. I have this great idea on how I'm going to sell all these houses. It's like, no, just do the things that everyone else has done. We're talking about veterans in this profession,
right?
And you're going to find results.
Well, but are you finding that even new agents are kind of hesitant to farm their own neighborhood, to just like go and talk to their neighbors?
Yeah. I mean, the fear is definitely in investing in your business. Like Hung said, it's hard to go to work every day, when you're not getting paid for it, being on a commission only job, it's hard to write those checks for whether it's your signs, like I said, or flyers or some sort of item of value to knock on your doors. But it works.
Right.
So return on investment.
Yeah. But I would think a lot of new agents, because they I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in that mindset of how I would feel kind of walking into this, right? Like, you've never sold a house before. This is someone's, biggest asset that they've ever will have in their life. And it's, the deals are complex. And and then not only that, when you're in a transaction, I think it's kind of intimidating, but to even have okay, you just got your license and so all this stuff, but to be able to communicate that and come off as an expert when you're actually just a novice. I mean, that's got to be challenging. Hung, how did you have the confidence to go and talk to your neighbors, talk to that sphere? I think it's one thing to say, all right, well, I got my real estate license, and so if you know anyone, but then that's not going to work. How do you kind of have that confidence to press forward and meet those people and then have those conversations?
Actually, absolutely. So thank you for that question. I think that comes with preparation, being prepared mentally and with the knowledge yourself of the industry. First thing I want to do when I enter an industry is just, hey, what are the rules and the verbiage? What are the things I need to learn? And once I get more confident of those facts and information, I can be able to pass it on. And honestly, I take a very simple perspective from it, where I have great information and I just want to share with my buyers and sellers.
That's
simple
awesome.
as that.
So do you think it's because you've told me that you have 2 different farm areas or areas that you farm? So have you found it easier and less intimidating to start in your own neighborhood, or was it kind of the same sort of feeling?
So actually, I didn't start in my neighborhood. Thank you for asking. Yes,
okay.
it was kind of intimidating at first when I started in my neighborhood is my second farm. My first farm was my first sale in just down the road in the HOA. So I felt more comfortable in that, not my neighborhood farm. It really developed my skill set there and fine tune my my approaches. Which led me to the confidence of, again, walking my neighborhood with those skill sets.
Yeah, I guess it's one thing if you feel like you came off like an idiot to someone you might not meet again, but if it's your neighbor, then you're that guy, they think I'm an idiot now for all of us, right? Yeah. No, I could definitely see how that would be intimidating. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, well, look, let's take a quick break. And we'll do our social media sidebar, and then we're going to come back. And we're eager to talk marketing, I think, with Hung too, because obviously he's been so successful this first year. How has he done that with marketing? And then this guy, guarantee, already I can tell by the way he has gone about this business that this guy does action items. So we're gonna get one from Hung. We're gonna get one from all of us at the end of the show.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, social media sidebar time. We are upmarket.media across all social media. You can go there. You can get a little behind the scenes goodness on your old friends here at the Real VC podcast. And also check out a lot of real estate media stuff on upmarket.media because we are shooting houses every day, all across Ventura County. And a lot of those are making it on our feed. So if you want to check out some houses, check us out. I want to check out Katie Connolly on where are you?
You can find me at katie.connolly.realtor on Instagram, Katie Connolly on Facebook, and Katie Connolly on LinkedIn.
Oh, Katie Connolly.
Yes.
Yeah, with a lot of Katie Connollys.
Yes.
All right.
It's easy. And then Hung, where can we find you?
On Instagram, you can find me at Let's Get You Home First.
Oh.
Yes, first with 1ST.
1ST. Okay, so first, not FIRST,
Yes.
1ST.
Yes.
All right. Well, and Chelsea, our producer, she's feeding beautiful on Instagram. And she is, at Upmarket Media, not only is she producing this podcast, but she is our social media creative director. And Chelsea, and you're also a little bit of an influencer in the food space.
A little bit.
Yeah. So you have a following and so more than all of us put together about it. But you also just did some continuing education. You did a webinar with a paid social media expert who manages a ton of accounts. And so can you give us some key takeaways from that?
I can. I'll give you the rundown.
Okay.
My notes that I took.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Number one, don't look at metrics. Algorithms are always changing. It doesn't do you any good and it doesn't matter. The main point is communication, connection. That's the biggest tool we have.
Okay.
You don't need to post every single day. Again, it's all about the relationships, as Katie, you've mentioned in the past.
It
So
works.
just talk to people. People are really hungry right now, as we've said in a past episode too, for connection, human interaction. There's an overflow of content. There is it can be so overwhelming to see what everyone is posting, and especially, in the real estate industry or the food industry, I can get overwhelmed just watching all the food videos, and then it makes me not want to post. So instead of doing that, interact and connect with people. You don't need to post every single day. You don't need to post in real time, and you don't want to schedule your posts. You want to be authentic.
Right.
So be real.
Authentic.
Post in the moment. Don't
In the moment.
it can be from earlier, but just don't schedule it.
Don't
right?
schedule it.
For the
don't use
algorithm,
the
yeah.
apps where you schedule it. Yeah. You have to it has to be organic. Communication, less contenting, more commenting. So again, just engagement,
Right.
connection, engage with intention, DM, comment, like. People are posting on their stories. They're posting, things they're doing throughout their day. They're giving you that tool that you can just connect with them through. So say they're at the beach with their coffee, you can say like, that looks beautiful, or what a nice day. Anything works. It doesn't have to be business related.
Right.
Just
It probably mostly shouldn't be business related.
no.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. If they say you care outside of work, that's even bigger. So
Right.
they're giving you that tool, use it.
Right.
You don't have to post every week. You don't have to post a story every day. The interactions are your biggest tool. So as long as you're doing that, you can go a month without posting and you're good. You probably shouldn't do that, but
Right.
you know, that's again, biggest tool, biggest takeaway here. And then 3 important things are the person you are, your personality, and your perspective, because that is what makes you unique.
Right.
And that's what's going to make you stand out and, potentially get you more clients or make your friends want to see what you're doing.
Right.
It makes you
It's
different.
true.
Well, and it almost goes back to what kind of Hung was saying earlier about just like, people, right? And so it's like, this is just another tool that we can use to engage with people. And the biggest takeaway I'm hearing from you is like, it's really less about, not even less, but posting is just part of it. But the other part is actually being a community member on there.
Yes.
And like,
It is a community.
Yeah. And engaging with people.
Yeah.
And I have, personally, I think in my social media, I feel, I'm bad at social media. And, because I don't engage that much. I look, but I don't engage that much.
What I love that Chelsea said is that the algorithm's always changing. And I have heard that before,
Right.
that there's no way to just know this algorithm. But wouldn't it be cool instead of the stories that go all the way to the very first little circle, it's like people that have like 20,
Right.
they're always posting. If it did the opposite, those people that only post once a month. So then I can be like, oh, Reed's back active on social media. He's my first little circle.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
But I do think, practically, and it's just something we've been thinking about a lot lately in our business terms, is that we are trying to engage more. We are making a concerted effort to do that. So if you're a realtor listening to us, you're probably got a DM waiting from us, but you know what? It's really authentic. We really did think that beach looked nice, right, Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and when you think about it, someone sits down for lunch, they're looking at their phone, they're going to see what they're going to see on their feed. But if you comment or if you write to them on their DM, that is still going to be there when they sit down and look at their phone again. So if you posted something and they happen to miss it, it's gone. But if you send them a message, they're going to see it next time they sit down.
Right.
So just think of it that way.
That's a good point. Well, and I think a comment is nice because I know sometimes I don't have Instagram for my personal account. Ping my phone, if I get a comment or something, but it'll give me the little badge. Oh, there's a one. Oh, I'm like, oh, someone sent me a DM, and then I get a little excited, right? And then I go and it was just someone hearting my story, and I was like, well, that's not.
But it's something. I mean, it's
something.
better
I know,
than nothing.
But I want them to be like, say something cool. So I don't know. So I think commenting is the way to go.
Perfect. Are you commenting on real estate related stuff on social media, Hung?
I'm doing my best. I'm getting more active in that sense, on that space there. Granted, I'm not as active as I want to be.
Yeah.
But there's definitely room for opportunities there. When it comes to posting, I definitely try to keep it towards my personality and my lifestyle instead of just the newest and hottest, homes on the market today.
Yeah.
There's enough people branding real estate itself.
Yeah, Upmarket Media does that. You
Yeah.
know, that's fine.
Yes.
Well, no, but it goes back to then the what Chelsea said. What the big thing is like personality, and
Right.
it's like and you are your brand,
Yes.
right? So yeah.
That's awesome.
So awesome. All right. Well, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more marketing, not just social media marketing, but other marketing. And then we're going to end with some action items. Okay, it is time for our marketing moment. Oh, Katie, you know we all love talking about marketing.
I love talking about marketing.
Well, let's talk about marketing
Perfect.
in this moment.
So Hung said it best earlier in our segment before about not just branding the house, but branding ourselves as agents. So I want you to talk about that a little bit. How have you branded yourself as an agent?
I started working my neighborhood and really branding, I realized that I'm not selling in my neighborhood. I'm branding myself throughout my neighborhood. And I do that with just touches, like knocking on doors and introducing myself, really keeping it genuine, get face-to-face time with my neighbors. And ultimately, my goal is to shake one person's hand and meet the household owner. And if I could do that multiple times throughout the week and months and compounding it and be able to walk the neighborhood and not have to wear a name badge and people could still know my name, that's my goal. Yes. So I've been just working in the neighborhood with flyers, open house promotions, just listed, just sold, and just being consistent. I think consistency is the key.
And then are you holding a bunch of open houses? Or?
As much as I can, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In your neighborhood? Yeah.
Yes. Anytime I don't have a listing in my neighborhood and I see any KW agents that do, I hop on it. I'll be like, let me host your open house. I'll bring cookies and
right. Oh, yeah.
tamales and all that good stuff.
He does. I've had
I believe it.
cookies and tamales. They're fantastic.
Oh, all right. Well, I like a cookie. I like a tamale. Maybe I'm gonna go down there.
There you go.
And check that out. Well, so you're really just doing it kind of the old school. You're just kind of knocking and shaking. Knocking doors, shaking hands.
That's it. I'm very simple, and I like to take a simple approach from a lot of things. And yeah, as simple as that, you're just talking to the people.
Right. But you are like working hard though.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing is like, I think those simple approaches, they're simple, but the secret sauce behind it is just a lot of hard work.
There ain't no secret sauce. You just got to put in the work there. Yes.
Yeah. All that hard work. Maybe that's why you don't have time to do social media.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Because
that's
you're
all of us,
actually
right?
doing the work.
Well, have you tried any other kind of marketing approaches over this last year, or really that's all you've been doing?
Mostly door knocking and mailers. Yes. Social media, not too much.
Right. And how have mailers gone? Have you gotten any traction with that?
Actually, in escrow right now with one of my mailers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
There you go. Is that normal?
We just love when it happens.
Yeah.
There's a reason we do it.
Right.
So it's just
right.
great.
But the
when
hit
it
rate's
happens.
probably not amazing, but when it hits, it hits.
Yes.
Yes. I'm very surprised by the results I'm getting in a short period of time.
Our last guest was talking about advertising on the dividers at the grocery store, and that person has called me. The person that sells the grocery store dividers, have they called you yet?
No, I thought about that. Is that worth it?
You'll get there. They'll call you.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. Teach them.
Yeah, but I think that was, and I think what he ended up saying is, well, no, I didn't get deals out of it, but people knew my face in that neighborhood. Right?
Gotcha.
It's just one more touch, right?
Exactly.
And so,
The top of mind. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, the marketing we do doesn't always, you can't always point to one thing that made it work. I mean, occasionally you can like, I saw that video and I just had to have that house and then I got a deal that way. But, but if it's just that general, you're branding yourself and, I mean, it's all of it coming together, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
There's many avenues from branding yourself, from the digital platform to the old school door knocking and your sphere. So there's many different avenues, and I'm starting to figure them out too.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything you have your eye on to try, or are you just kind of content doing what you're doing?
I'm very content right now. I mean, it's working, but I definitely want to build my social media up and get a bigger audience there, and I feel good that Chelsea say I don't have to post every single day to get engagement. So I feel better about myself now.
Okay, good. Well, that's what we want.
We hope being on our award-winning podcast gets you a ton of engagement on your
Did
social
we
media.
want an award?
I gave you an award.
Oh, right. Best podcast I co-host.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you, Hung, being so new in the business, have you really identified like what your marketing vision is? So you're, kind of saying the same thing on all social media platforms. You're being authentically yourself. The words used are the same. The colors used are the same. Have you worked on a strategy for that?
I am. I'm hoping to get a better stance. My really focus is this year is to be better on social media. As I feel I could reach more people out there.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah.
Well, but when you think about, okay, so as a new agent, right, we're always, you always have to be looking for a way to set yourself apart, right? Or just to even get noticed, not even apart, right? Just to get noticed at all. And when you are, because even if you're doing door knocking, right, you do have to think about your brand. And we've talked about how your brand is you. I mean, what have you distilled down for yourself into like what your brand is, other than, well, it's Hung Lee, but like, what does that mean?
So I like to, one of my tagline, it's the American dream is still alive. Let's get you home. And the reason behind that was when, everybody the American dream is to own the house with the white picket fence and the yard and the dogs and the family, right? That first home changed my life. My first home I purchased changed my life. Like my family's trajectory, right?
Right.
And without that first home I purchased and to be able to leverage it and be able to utilize that and open different opportunities, I don't think I'd be in the space I'd be right now without that first purchase. So I want to be able to bring that opportunity to a lot of people and have that as, reamp the American dream of home ownership. I think a lot of people are losing hope in this industry right now, especially with the high interest rate. So be able to put that hope back into the community of, hey, American dream is still alive. Let's get you home and really drive that, that brand, that message.
This is bringing together so many things that we've talked about. Talking about authenticity, which we talk about all the time. Another one of our guests talk about telling stories, which your story is fantastic. And if you can tell that to your potential buyers, like, hey, this was so rewarding for me and my family. I want to give you that same gift. People are going to resonate with that because it's a truthful statement.
Oh, absolutely. I barely got into my first home utilizing an FHA loan and still had to account for a couple extra $100 that weren't being accounted for. So we barely snuck into our first house.
Right.
But to be able to do that was where we'll be able to grow wealth. And what better way to do it is through real estate and be able to promote that to all the families in the future here.
I love that.
Right. Well, and you're bringing that personal connection to it because you've lived it. Right?
I lived it.
It's like you're not just selling something. You're using your experience.
And the caveat on top of that was that first time purchase, that first home I purchased, that agent was horrible. So I know what not to do.
Right.
Yes.
Right off the bat.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, sometimes a bad experience can inspire you to say, you know what? If
I
they can do that, I can do better.
I can do better. Yeah.
Or,
I knew
or even if they can do that, I can do that. Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's been my saying since day one.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of realtors out there. We love them all, but some are better than others, of course, as with it's just like the podcast, some are better than others. So I don't know where this one ranks, but I don't know. Apparently I'm winning awards from Katie Connolly. So, and to win an award, they got to take action to give that award, right? So I think it's time for some action items.
I agree.
So let's let our
the
guest
go first.
All right.
Let's
throw an action item down, buddy.
What do you have for our listeners?
Oh, well, I like to, again, keep it simple.
Okay.
It's just don't overthink and just do it. Don't overthink, have a plan and execute. The problem is, I think a lot of times myself too, when I overthink things, I talk myself out of it. And I don't know how many people do the same, but when you sit there too long and overanalyze a project or a task, you find yourself talking yourself out of it most of the time when you don't feel like it, right? So I, again, just kind of keeping it simple, having a plan and sticking to it and being consistent.
All right.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Rita, you ready?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to not piggyback off that, but Chelsea thinks a lot about this podcast and she's tried to get me to stop it many times, but I said, no, we're doing it. We're just going to take the action. We're just going to do it.
Yes. Go for it.
Yeah. So we started it up and no, that's the thing is like, I think I think it's a really broad action item but it's so important. I like not to overthink, and sometimes you just do it, and you might fail, but then you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail forward.
Yep.
I'm gonna go boring on this one. This is a very boring one. I want you to add 10 people to your database. And I know. Well,
that's a good one.
It's a good one, but it's boring.
No, because imagine if somebody gets to 9. Today's Thursday, so by next Wednesday, if they're like at 9, they're gonna really find that 10th person to hit their goal.
All right, there you go. All right.
Yeah,
you just got to add 10 people to your database. And then if you can do that, and I don't know, and you can say you're going to do that over the course of a week, that's great. But even if it's a month, that's something, right? At least you're doing something, but add 10 people to that database. And then there you are. You're increasing your sphere.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
All right. Katie, roll with it, baby.
So I'm always inspired by Hung's beautiful for sale signs and his custom open house signs.
I haven't seen them.
And I will show them to you. And then after this, I'm actually going to pick up another custom for sale sign for another one of our agents. So I want to encourage agents to do exactly what you did, Hung. Invest in their business, have a for sale sign that has their own phone number on it, not a phone number that just rings and rings and rings on the weekend in an office, and really start branding themselves, make that small investment, and start branding yourself. Get signs with your name on them and your real phone number.
Whoa.
Yes.
Ooh, I love it. Hey, Chelsea, thanks for producing.
Of course.
Katie, thank you for co-hosting. Reed, thank you for co-hosting. Hung Lee, thank you for being a guest.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. And you know what? The biggest thanks of all to our listeners.
Yes.
Thank you, listeners. We appreciate you all. And thank you for all the kind words we've been getting about the podcast. And I know Katie and I have been out and we've each been accosted by people asking about the podcast and saying they've listened to it. So we really appreciate everyone who's been listening. We're really hoping to grow. We're really hoping to be here for as a resource for everybody and continue this thing. You're in still, Katie, right?
I am. And the best way to help us grow this podcast is to like and subscribe.
Oh, that is I've been forgetting to say that.
That's what all the influencers say.
Yeah, well, we're influencers. So like and subscribe. Absolutely.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. And you know what? Not even like, but rate it 5 stars. You know, if you're an Apple Podcast, you can rate that thing 5 stars. Spotify, you can rate it 5 stars. Oh, yeah.
I
Love
give
it.
6 stars.
I know. So would I. All right. Thank you, everybody. We will be back very soon with a new episode. Real VC is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. We'll be back shortly with a brand new episode, but in the meantime, we hope that all your transactions will be smooth. Thank you for everything.